When it comes to trauma, we have to feel it to heal it. At least that's what I believe. And you shouldn't believe anything I say. I'm just a human being. I've got opinions and perspectives and ways I see the world that maybe don't resonate with you. Maybe some of the ways that I see my life and the lives of those around me isn't going to actually bring you happiness and success. So rather than fully blindly trusting anything I'm going to say, just let it inspire you to create truth that works for you. So when it comes to trauma has to be felt in order for us to heal. And what I mean by that is that we have to face the pain that we've been avoiding in our life. When we experience trauma, it leaves a mark inside of our nervous system, kind of like a computer virus. So if you imagine that our bodies are these highly advanced bio supercomputers, and that every belief we have is like a computer program that's running in the background, and every painful experience we happen, whether it's getting caught drinking and driving, getting kicked out of elementary school, having a parent tell us that we're dumb or that we did something wrong, or just ignoring us completely, or sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, or anything in that spectrum, well then these are traumas. These are traumas that create imprints on our nervous system. So those imprints create really deeply ingrained programs that act almost like viruses that manipulate our thoughts, our words, and the ways that we see the world. Every single experience that we have that causes pain, even if it's this much pain or this much pain, it creates an imprint on our nervous system, and we can call it a trauma. Now, some people in society, psychologists, counselors, therapists may disagree with this. And like I said in the beginning of this video, you shouldn't believe anything I say. But the high-level practitioners, coaches, healers, and doctors that I study and I work under, they recognize that trauma can be this small and it can be this small, but it all affects us. Trauma leaves an imprint inside of us just like a computer virus. And until we go in and heal that computer virus, then that virus is going to manipulate how we see the world. Tell me, how many times have you been triggered by somebody and you can't explain why? Logically, you know that it doesn't make sense that you would be triggered by this little thing they said or this little thing they did, but for some reason, it just gets to you and you blow up, you get mad, you get angry, you get sad, you get insecure, whatever it might be. Well, if that's ever happened to you, that is the result of some kind of computer virus, some kind of trauma that's stored inside of your nervous system. Your brain sees whatever this person or this situation has created, and it interprets it in a certain way that says, hey, look out, you're in for danger. This situation is going to cause you pain, or it could threaten your life, or this person could be against you, and you need to respond to this in a really dramatic way so that you can either protect yourself from this person or situation or get the hell out of there. Now, this is valuable if there's a wild animal chasing you, if you're trying to run away from a snowstorm that's coming, or a tidal wave that's coming, or some other form of danger. But most of the time, when we're triggered in our society, it's not actually logical. It's based on something we've created inside of our body and inside of our mind, and it has nothing to do with what's going on around us. So trauma creates imprints inside of us. Again, the trauma could be this big or this big. It creates an imprint in our nervous system, which causes us to get triggered and respond and react to situations unconsciously as a way of our body protecting us from situations that look like the traumas that were created in the first place. Let me give you a simple example. Let's imagine at 5 years old you were bit by a dog. Okay? You spent the rest of your life afraid of dogs. And every time you're around a dog, your body responds. It gets tight, it gets tense, maybe your heart rate increases, maybe you start perspirating, you start sweating a little bit, maybe you start thinking really terrible thoughts about what that dog could do to you, and you get the hell out of there because it's too uncomfortable. You can't stay around dogs. It just creates too much of a fear for you. So you spend your whole life being afraid of dogs. Well, the same thing can happen if, as a child, you were sexually abused by a man or a woman. The same thing can happen if you were abused or neglected by your parents. It can be the same thing if you got into a fist fight with your brother or if your sister picked on you too much. Every one of these situations can create an imprint in our nervous system, which makes us assume that all situations like that in the future are going to create the same results. So if you were sexually abused by a man as a kid, then you may create a program that says that all men are going to abuse you and that you can't trust them. If your mother neglected you, then you may create a program or a virus that says that you need women's love and that no women are going to love you or pay attention to you just because your mother didn't. If you were bit by a dog, then maybe you say that all dogs are going to abuse you. This is how trauma leaves its imprint inside of us. Now, in ancient times, they had different ways of explaining these traumas or viruses or computer programs. The ancient shamans used to call them intrusions. They would act like sort of like an intrusion that gets inside of an energetic entity, or an intrusion or a spirit or a negative spirit that gets connected to your energy body and creates thoughts that don't exist, that shouldn't exist, and beliefs that aren't aligned with who you are. They can also come in the form of imprints, according to shamans. Christians and Catholics and Judaism and ancient religions used to call them demons. These demons get inside of us and they behave for us and they manipulate our behavior. In Scientology, they call them engrams. And pain entities, or I have some other things written down here, negative energy pain entities. There are lots of different ways to explain this phenomena, but it's very simple. It's basically a computer virus that gets into your nervous system, into your body, and manipulates your behavior. It doesn't just exist in a mental level. It exists on a physical level. It's actually, the trauma is stored in our body somewhere. For me, a lot of my trauma has been stored in my hips. It's been stored in my neck and my back and even other places throughout my body, but primarily those areas. And chances are, if you experience trauma, then it's going to be in those areas too. And so cleaning this trauma out, purging this trauma out, is the only way for us to fully be free of it. So at the beginning of the video, I said we have to feel it to heal it. And what I mean by that is the pain that's trapped inside of us, it has to come out somehow. We have to release it, whether it's through crying, through talking, through exercises like tremoring, where you're like literally you're shaking your whole body and you're in positions where your body's tremoring and shaking and the pain is released. We can use it in very powerful ways like plant medicine ceremonies, including ayahuasca or San Pedro or psilocybin mushrooms, even cannabis in some cases. We can purge through fasting, through cleansing, through going on pilgrimages, through exercise, through sweating, through martial arts, through yoga, through meditation. There are many ways for us to purge this trauma out, but depending on how deep your traumas are, it could take some really extreme measures to get it out. For me, it's been a 3-year journey. If you've been following me at all for the last 3 years, you've seen me go through this journey. It's been deep. It's been painful in some cases. It's been powerful. It's been life-changing. It's been miraculous. And it's been devastating in some cases. This trauma being stuck in my body from a childhood of trauma and then teenage years of trauma and then my early 20s and my late 20s as a professional mixed martial arts fighter, I've stored trauma all throughout my body. But the more I dig into it, the more I feel it, the more I heal it, and the more I face the suffering that I've been avoiding most of my life, the more free I become. Now, there are lots of doctors and lots of therapists and lots of people out there that say, you never need to go back into your trauma, you never need to face that stuff, you never need to go there. And they're not wrong. You don't have to do any of these things. You don't have to face your childhood traumas. You don't have to forgive those who have hurt you. You don't have to forgive yourself. None of that's necessary. You can just continue to live your life as you are. But if you're looking for a deeper level of healing, if you're looking for a more expansive level of freedom in your life, then the only way to achieve that is through this deep healing work. The only way for us to get to that point is to cleanse the traumas out of us. We have to understand first, how did these traumas create empowerment for us? My childhood traumas made me the man I am today. They inspired me to become a professional athlete. My healing journey has inspired me to become a healer for other people and a coach and to do things that I love to do that help people heal from their pain. My childhood traumas are the foundation for the life I've created for myself, and I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. But until I healed them, they caused me a lot of pain, and sometimes, in some cases, they still cause me pain. I'm still on my journey. Trauma heals because when we feel it, we heal it. When we face the pain that we've been avoiding, then the pain begins to disappear and miracles happen as a result. We can get the trauma out. We can heal ourselves. If you've been diagnosed with PTSD or complex PTSD or anxiety or depression or any of it, I'm here to tell you it can heal. I'm not a doctor. You shouldn't trust anything I'm going to say, and you shouldn't blindly go out and do any of these things on your own because it's deep work. And you should have somebody that works with you that knows how to get you through this work and can direct you in the right ways, but it can be done. We can heal. Trauma doesn't have to hold us down forever. Trauma heals when it comes out. Trauma heals when we find the empowerment inside of it. Trauma heals when we express the pain outside of us. And if you're experiencing trauma or if you're experiencing suffering in your life as a result of your traumas, then that's fine. That just means that there's more healing to do. and it can be done. There are a few things that have really contributed to me healing myself. One has been study and practice. Learning about trauma, learning about the ancient ways of healing trauma as well as the modern ways of treating and healing trauma, and practicing those things in my life diligently. I've put more work into healing my traumas than I've done anything in my life. And I was a professional mixed martial arts fighter for 8 years, 21 competitions all over the country. I put more work into healing my traumas than I ever did in that career. Study and practice are huge. Next, investing in yourself. Whether it's time, energy, or finances, I've invested endless amount of energy into myself. More than $100,000 into my healing. I've traveled to California, I've traveled to Peru, I've traveled all over, everywhere I can to heal this trauma. And you might say, well, I don't have money to heal my trauma. I don't have money to travel right now. I don't have money to do these things. The money will present itself if you are taking action and creating momentum. When I started this journey, I had nothing. I was making $2,000 a month in income, and I had $3,000 a month in bills. I reached out and started begging coaches and healers to help me and to work with me. And before I knew it, not only were they working with me and helping me, but I was becoming a healer too. And I was learning the process of healing so that I can lead others in the same place. Investing in ourselves is we have to do it. It's just an important part of this work, and we have to show ourselves that we really want this healing. Finally, it's believing in the impossible, because there are a lot of doctors and a lot of professionals out there that say people who have experienced trauma are going to be affected forever and that you're just going to have to live with it and you're just going to have to let it go. And that's just simply not true. It's not to say that they're wrong. In some cases, they are right. Some people don't have the energy, the resources, the time, or the interest to go through the deep healing work to heal their trauma. And so for those people, this answer is fine. But you're going to have to live with it. But for those of us who want change, for those of us who desire freedom more than we desire comfort, miracles are possible, and we can heal from our traumas. I've decided to talk less about this work without taking action. And so I've decided to take massive action in my life. I am renting a 5-bedroom house. I'm going to use it to do this work with other people. I'm going to use it with a business partner and a team of coaches to offer trauma work, to offer peak performance work, and most importantly, to offer authentic relationship work so that people like you and I can learn to connect more deeply to those around us, ultimately helping us heal depression, heal loneliness, heal anxiety, and all of the other illnesses that come along with our past traumas. I and my partner, Alain Cormier, and the other business partners and coaches I'm working with, we're creating a space where you can not only be yourself, but where we celebrate your past pain as your greatest accomplishments and the things that made you who you are today. If you'd like to learn more about the programs and the things that we're up to, click the link below. It'll take you to a simple email list where I'll email you our programs and our information. I'm not going to be sharing my personal address online or the programs just online anywhere, but if you're truly interested, click the link. I'll send you information. Some programs are free, some programs are paid. The ones that are paid are really deep and high level. The ones that are free are for those of us who are just ready to start experiencing this work. Check out the first link, rickygoodall.com/the temple. The second link is for my video series, The Path, where I talk about my whole journey and everything I've used to overcome my traumas and my past pain. Again, it's a free video series. There's no cost. I'm not going to try to sell you anything. It talks about my coaching work, my shamanic work. It talks about all the different healers I've worked with, the esoteric and shamanic practices I've used to heal myself, and a whole lot more. It's full of information. Check that out below too. And finally, below that link, you'll find one more link that will take you to a musical demo album that I've recently recorded called Star I Am, the Shimmering One. It's got 5 songs that are music ranging from Rage Against the Machine to Metallica to Tool, but with lyrics that help you remember that you create your experience and that you are the powerful creator of your reality. So I'm giving that away too in the link below. Again, not trying to sell you anything. I'm just going to give that to you for free, and then you'll be on my email newsletter, and I'll keep you posted about opportunities to do work like this. Trauma heals when we feel it, and when we feel it, we heal it. So if there's trauma that's still keeping you down, if there are experiences in your life that are still causing you suffering, know that you're not alone. There are people out there that can help you, and miracles are possible. Thanks for watching.